BYU at Utah State, ESPN Friday Night Football, and it's my video best bet of the week. Marco, what should bettors be looking at in this game?
There's a phrase in horse racing, dropping in class. BYU is dropping big time in class for this game. It's the fourth game of the season. It's the first time they've been made a favorite this year.
Fourth game of the season for BYU in this case.
For BYU.
Okay, so what does that mean for us? There's two ways, or I guess the obvious answer would be they need a big win, and now they're in a position to be the favorite, and they're really going to take advantage.
That's the common sense approach, but what you have to do, the dilemma that presents handicappers in a game like this is because you're dealing with such a disparity in talent, you've got to look at the stats and dissect through them, because right now, if you look at BYU's stats, everybody they've played, they've played games against Washington, Air Force, Florida State, Nevada, all good ball clubs, so their stats are going to be bad. So now you got to try to work through them and adjust them to playing a team like Utah State.
And we talk about that in college, especially when there's such a disparity between quality of opposition, especially early in the season. You got to be very careful looking at things. We have a stat that I'm going to give later that Oregon has outscored their opponents at home 141-0. So now their opponents were, I think, Portland State and whoever. So clearly, you got to be careful with statistical adjustments. Really, though, it's probably dangerous to even do it as a gut feeling, because what you're going to say is, oh, BYU's had a tough schedule, maybe things aren't so bad. Some of the real stats handicappers out there have Sargent-type computer models to do these adjustments. I think in general, for a handicapper that's not really experienced with the adjustments, just be very careful of the stats whenever you have a college team that's had an extreme easy schedule or an extreme tough schedule.
Absolutely. Another thing about this game, and we've used this phrase several times this year on the show, this is what I call a one-way rivalry. BYU and Utah State, they play obviously in the same state. It's more of a rivalry game for the Utah State players than it is for BYU, because Utah State's going to look at, next to playing Utah, this is the biggest game on the schedule for Utah State, playing big brother, so to speak, BYU.
Okay, which actually segues into my free pick here, in my best bet video pick. BYU has won 20 of 21 versus Utah State. In the last 10 games of this series, BYU has been favored by an average of, take a guess.
It's probably double digits for sure. I'm going to say 14.
21 points.
There you go.
This Utah State has an ESPN home game. Can you imagine any scenario for Utah State in which they have a big brother that's been beating on them 20 out of 21 years, that they've been, usually they enter into the game with no chance of winning, 21-point underdogs on average. Now you have a combination of you are within a touchdown, you're less than a touchdown underdog, and ESPN's there. I think that you're going to get the very best possible performance out of Utah State. Now let's flip and consider what we're going to get out. Well, first off, do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Psychologically, forget the matchups, forget how much the defensive end weighs. I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about the motivation. You like to talk about gradients of motivation. Utah State's 100 out of 100 here.
It's probably 110. It's going to be a frenzied, home crowd, because they never get a TV camera there. And I'll tell you, we've already had a game similar to this, not line-wise, but everything you're talking about. And that was when Marshall hosted West Virginia on it was a Thursday or Friday game, I don't remember which, but earlier this season. And Marshall took,
Friday game, I remember.
It took it to overtime.
For sure. And that was a situation that Marshall was, I think, plus 12 or something like that. So, okay, so let's flip and talk about BYU. You could say, oh, they're going to be so excited to get a win. I'm not so sure. When you've been in a situation, just here in local Vegas Talk Radio, they were talking about how they thought BYU was a team that could reload every year, and they're very surprised about how they're playing. Who knows really what's going on within this program? And I think it may be a situation where they're like, yeah, we could win this game, but who cares? We're not going to make a bowl. I'm not saying they're not going to try, but I don't think they're going to enter into this game like, well, here's a chance to actually win. I think it's going to be, we're having a sucky season. That sucks, and it's going to be hard to, remember, we always talk about, and as the college season progresses, we'll be talking about it more, when a team loses the game, which makes it where their season goals are not going to be met, the next game is usually their worst game, because psychologically, if your goal is a bowl and you lose that 7th game or whatever it is that makes you non-bowl eligible, it's hard to come out motivated. This BYU team, it's been established. Their season is in the toilet. I just question their motivation here.
Well, they still have conference play to look at, but
For what? To what end?
well, they're not bowl ineligible yet, but they'd have to run the table. You know, they got room for one more loss.
We're talking reality here?
Well, we're talking
what I'm saying-
mathematics.
No, but that's not reality. I mean, that's like saying that the Red Sox 2 days ago they had to win 7 straight, and the Yankees had to lose 6 straight. You think the Red Sox are thinking we're in this thing? I mean, what I'm saying is it's been a huge emotional disappointment for college, for kids that are 19, 20, 21 years old for BYU. The idea that they're going to get all psyched up to play Utah State, again, maybe they're going to be a 70 out of 100. I just think that I think some handicappers could say, okay, you're right, Utah State's psyched for all the reasons we talked about, but BYU's psyched because they're finally going to get a win and all that. I think at best it's 100 to 70, and to me that's a big psychological edge, emotional edge, motivational edge for Utah State.
I agree with you on that.
All right, before I give my best bet prediction, do you have any other key points?
I have a stat for you. BYU playing on a short week. The last 12 times that BYU played with a short week of prep time, they're only 2-10 against the spread.
That's a good. You think those Mormons would be, very focused on preparation? It's kind of the opposite of my Miami of Florida thing when they did have a bye week, though it didn't work out so well last weekend.
No, it didn't.
All right, so let's move on and talk about our prediction. I'm going to actually go with Utah State to pull the upset, 27-24, and that's my video best bet pick of the week.
Good stuff. And I agree with you with the play. I can't disagree. We got to give a coupon away here, too, with the best bet.
What we do is, and you give a best bet every week, I give a best bet. In one of those videos, we give a coupon for pregamepros.com. Hit it.
Yeah, we decided to put the best bet coupon in RJ's because we needed a little more value with his picks on his segment. So the best bet coupon is just that, best bet 10. All one word, best bet and the number 10. You'll get $10 off anything you buy. You can use that coupon one time. Just add it when you go to the shopping cart, and it'll automatically take $10 off. And if the package happens to be $10, you get it for free.
And this is pregamepros.com.
Pregamepros.com.
All right, now it's your turn to join the conversation in the comments section with me and Marco. And next up on the next video podcast and audio, we're going to be talking Saturday college football.